It doesn't hurt to make some phone calls. It never hurts to have contact. It doesn't hurt to email. So you have to be open for everything. And if you're listening to me and you're like, hey, I found someone that's got a multi-unit, I don't have any idea who to sell it to, contact me. Reach out, message me on social media. I know people in every industry around the entire country. I've got contacts out the yin yang. I've got people everywhere. And every single person I've done a podcast with, I kept their name and number and what they do. So I go through my phone and like, hey, and so so if you have anything, hotels, condos, houses, land, like I don't know what to do with it. If someone called me or I called somebody, I've got land over here. Call Dwan. I know everybody. Literally, I know everybody.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I am so excited that you are here with me today. Our motto at Dwanderful is people before profits. So if that resonates with you, it's the right time, the right place, and I am your girl. So we've got a great podcast for you today. I always want to tell you to jump over to Dwanderful.com. Dwanderful.com. And okay, did my podcast go blurry? Or there it is. I was like, something just happened to my eyesight. All right, I got a little blurry there for a minute. Dwanderful.com. I've got 4 free ebooks. I have all kinds of great stuff for you. Go over there. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Follow me everywhere. All right, so I always want to do a quick check-in. Today we're gonna have a drink, so everybody grab something to drink. I'm having my live enzymes. I am just like so addicted to this. Ooh. Cheers. So good. Tastes like lemon. It's just so delicious. Take a deep breath. And let's have a great time today. All right, so I just recorded a podcast just a few minutes ago, and you are listening to this 1 week later. So you are listening to this one on the 17th of January. I just did one on the 10th, but I just recorded like 5 minutes ago. Like I said, I have to travel quite a bit. It's the 17th, so I'm going to be in Houston the 21st and 22nd at the Houston Re. I'm doing a 2-day workshop. So if you contact them and say, hey, I want to come and see Dwan, she said all her podcast peeps could come free, then show up. Have fun with me. It's 2 days. You'll have so much education. There's 8 1.5-hour sessions. You will not believe how great and fun it really is. All right, so today I want to talk to you again about 2 other deals that we're working on. And you always hear me say that you need to have 10 deals in your funnel to close a couple deals a month. And if you really want to close a deal a week, you should always have 20 deals in your funnel. So we have the 2 from last week, which was Erickson and Elise. I'm talked to you about Heather. She's in our funnel. Lance is in my funnel, but he has a bunch. Like he's got a whole package of a lot of stuff. And we're still kind of touching base with Miguel a little bit. We have we have another few people around here that are kind of like in the funnel, not under contract or anything like that. And a lot of people this year, normally it's so weird because normally we close so many deals in December, always, because people want to like move fresh for the new year. But because I think that people are so far behind on their payments, like this Heather, she's like 26 payments behind or something. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her today. This other guy, Lance, he moved to Puerto Rico and has a bunch of stuff. He's just trying to dump and get rid of it because he moved out of the country, and he said he's got to take care of some health issues. He's going to tap out of real estate for 4 or 5 years and then get back into it when he gets whatever it is squared away. So it's kind of interesting. So we normally we have about 10 deals. And in the funnel means you could have a contract, you could have a listing agreement, you could be working on a short sale, you could be going back for a second or a third conversation. We actually don't go back, we just text and call everyone. You could be going following up for a third or a fourth or a fifth conversation, or whatever it is. Sometimes it takes a few conversations to get deals under contract. And if you can keep about 10 deals on any given day, you should be able to close 2 or 3 deals a month. Okay. So that's the goal. Now, like I said, in December, normally we close a bunch of deals in December because people can move like starting for the first of the year. But I think because people are so far behind, and the banks just in Colorado anyway, most of the banks just like there were some of the people we're working with that had sale dates on the 21st and the 26th and stuff like that, or 27th, and the banks just moved everyone, just automatically kind of moved them all to January, which was really nice because a lot of the banks will not move the sale dates, and a lot of them will aggressively take houses in December. Like, oh man, come on, like it's Christmas, like give people, give them a little bit of mercy over here. But every single person that we're working with, without us asking, they all got a letter saying the sale date had been moved. Right? I told you last week about Erickson. Well, his sale date only got moved to January 5th, which is like right now it's Friday, it's Thursday. So they didn't really like move him too far. They moved him like, 10 days, but they still made it after the first of the year. So this was a very odd December because I've been known to close 10 or 15 deals in December. Banks trying to get them off the books, homeowners wanting to get a fresh start. And for whatever reason this year, most of the banks, and I think it's because people are just so far behind, most of the banks moved a little bit or a week or two and gave people, I guess, a little bit of a break. So, all right. So I want to talk to you about Heather. Now, Heather lives here in my city, in my town. Now, I talked to her, I don't even know the first time I talked to her. I mentioned her before, maybe September or October. And she had worked out a 3-month trial loan modification. So she had to make a payment in November. She had to make a payment in December, and she has to make a payment for January on the 1st. Now, November's payment she made late in the month because she borrowed the money from somebody. December's payment was due December 1st. Today is December 30th. She still hasn't made it. But supposedly her mother-in-law is giving it to her. So here's what I said. I said, listen, when you have a loan modification and you don't make the payment on the time that they say, which is the 1st of the month, and you mail it later in the month, they'll take the money because they'll put it towards what you owe, but they may kick you out of the modification. So just yesterday, she says, oh, I'm going to wire the money today. So right now, today, she's supposed to be wiring in her payment, which is like $1,900 or something like that. I think it's $1,900. I could be incorrect on that. So I'm going to write down $1,900 in case I have to go back and correct myself. But it's 3:30 here right now in Colorado on the 30th, and she hasn't made the payment yet. So I was like, okay, Monday is January. So I'm not even 100% sure that the bank took her November payment late and made it towards her loan modification. So I'm going to call the bank with her on Monday. And she was like, well, I needed to stay till after the 1st of the year. So I mailed, wired the one in November late, and then December, maybe not at all yet. And the bank reset a sale date for her. And I think her sale date is, let me see here. They set it for, I think it's the 27th. It's the last Friday in January. Yeah. So as far as I know, now this was again, I haven't talked to her. I talked to her on Christmas Eve. I just wanted to make sure she had some gifts for her kids, her daughter. And, we had a really wicked cold front. I wanted to make sure she had electricity and water and like she was okay. So normally I wouldn't just like stay so long with people, but this woman, she's a hoarder. Her house has a shocking amount of stuff in it. Like it's I've seen hoarders, but this is like hoarders to the next level. so so when someone has that, it's a like a psychological or mental disorder, or I don't even know what that stuff's called anymore without getting in trouble for not being PC. Whatever it is, she's got it really bad. And so for someone like her to actually move is really difficult. I told you guys this before. The first house I ever did, my first deal, Barbara was a hoarder, but I didn't know what a hoarder was. There was no internet, no cell phones. I didn't know what stuff was unless you knew, unless you knew, you knew, but I didn't know. So I remember when that TV show came on that was called Buried Alive. I watched it for the first time and I was like, wow, look at all that stuff in that house. And they explained about hoarders and how it's hard for people to move and have a hard time even throwing away a piece of paper. I was like, oh my gosh, my first woman was a hoarder. So looking back, it stuns me that she moved out. But when she moved, she took everything. There was not even a scrap of paper. She took everything, nailed out the wall. There was nothing left at all. So I get it. So with Heather being a hoarder, it's really going to be hard for her to make the move for sure. But she actually has, gosh darn, I should have looked at her paper right before I got on with you guys. She owes, we're going to say 300. I can't remember the exact number right this second. And her house is worth 450. 475, probably 475, which I believe she can get 475. It's a really cute log house. So between the 300 and the 475, the thing that I would work with her is, and I may even have talked about her on a podcast back in November. So if I did and my numbers are not exactly right, I apologize. I have to I have to look at all my notes right before I get talking about people because I can't keep all the numbers straight. But she has 150, 175,000 dollars. She has quite a bit of equity. And she originally wanted to try to list it, but a couple agents went up there. That's how we actually got her. An agent came to look at it and they were like, there's no way I could list this property. So they happened to know Felicia, Ayla and Felicia are my partners. And they said, hey, you have some family in Bailey. Do you know anyone that might want this? And so I went and looked at it and went to her house and talked to her. And I think I've been there 2 times for sure, maybe a third one. She just lives like across the highway on the other subdivision over there. But being a hoarder, it's going to be hard. So now with her, that would be a deal where we would do an equity partner. So we would give her a few $1,000s and have her move. I did talk about her before. So now you're going to get to hear it again. And if you didn't hear it before, go back and listen. My numbers could be completely wrong. I was like, Dwan doesn't know. I do. It's just, I've got so many deals working right now. I can't keep them all straight. I don't have my notes in front of me. But anyway, she's someone that with that kind of equity, she's never going to be able to sell at retail because I don't know hardly anyone retail that could actually overlook how full of trash. And that house, I think is in pretty good shape. It looks okay. It's logs, so it's log inside, but man, oh man, oh man, it's like, oh Lord, I haven't seen that much stuff in a house in a long time. So in a case like that, if someone has like $150,000 worth of equity, or probably about 120, about 150 is about where we really need to be with somebody. We usually give them 3 or 4 or 5,000 to move. And then we go in and we rehab the house and then we sell it retail. So let's just say it's 300 and when we're all said and done with the rehabbing, it's 350 and we sell it for 475. So we make 125,000. So we reimburse ourselves for the 50 that we spent working on it. If we sell for 475, we take 10%, which would be 47,500. So we take a 10% fee. It's called our financial risk assessment fee because we're taking all the risk. Sometimes we have to bring people's payments back up. Sometimes, we have to make the payments while we're working on it. And then we take what's left and we split it 50-50 with the homeowner. So the best deal in this case, because her house would be very difficult to sell retail, and she could, but she'd have to sell it so cheap, she'd actually make more money with us partnering it, because when we're done with it, it will be beautiful, like beautiful. We can sell it for the very top, 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 top of the market because it will be worth it. If she sells it herself, she'd really be lucky to get anything in the threes, because a couple, like I said, and the first agent that saw it, she called. Well, she wasn't even the first; she was like the third. They'd called a bunch of agents, and then when the one went and looked at it that happened to know Felicia, she was like, "No, they told me I'm like the third agent." She's like, "There's no way I can do nothing with this house." So the agents are just like, "No, it's just too big of a mess." So I talked to her on Christmas Eve, and she's like, "All right, call me on Monday." And she's, "I think I'm ready to go ahead and go to contract. I'm ready to do something because we had to borrow money for December's payment, which again, it's the 30th at 3:30 now. It's not made." And she says, "Well, we don't have any money for the first." And she's, we're too upside down. Now I knew she was way too upside down when I first talked to her. And I sat and I gave her my fed up with my 10 options. And I went over the equity partnering and how that works and what we do. But now she's like 3 or 4 more payments behind since then. But I didn't want to discount her because I know I knew she wouldn't be able to make the payments. I mean, she and her husband, neither one are working. She's on disability. It's like 1,300 a month, I think. I guess I think I did talk about this. I might have I might have talked about this on TikTok or Instagram. I can't remember, but it's okay. You'll hear it again. And some people that you just know that you know that you know that they're just not going to be able to make it happen. So, like I said, I called her for Christmas Eve and made sure she had, presents, and made sure she had stuff, and she was all set for that. But there's no way, I knew there would be no possible way she'd make it through her trial modification, and she didn't. So she was late on the first payment, late on the second if she made it today, and then January 1st is like right now. So anyway, she'll end up being a deal. She will end up being a deal. So I'll let you know what's happening with her. Now, I got a new guy that we just found, and just found him on Craigslist. So I tell you all the time, use Craigslist. So I called every person in Craigslist that has a for rent, for sale by owner, a lease, just anything at all. Found this guy on Craigslist. Now down in La Junta, which is like down by Pueblo, like pretty far, I guess south in Colorado. And it's a very, very, very small town. It's mostly Hispanic. Um, Property values are not worth very much down there, but he has a triplex, 2 single-family homes, and a commercial building that's been I had a fire or something. So it's basically just a shell of a commercial building. So he moved to Puerto Rico. So he goes, "If you want these houses, you can have them no money down. I will owner finance them, and you can fix them up and sell them, and then just, pay me whatever." And so for the triplex, the triplex is in nice shape. He only wants, gosh, where are my notes? He only wants 85 or 100. Dang, my notes from the other room. He doesn't want much for the triplex. And oh no, he 175. He is 175, but he said he'll take 150. I'll take 150 and I'll owner finance it to you. And then after you get it all fixed up and put it on the market, I'll owner finance it to the other people. So this guy's like, I just want out, doesn't owe anything. Both of the houses, one house he wants like 45, one house he wants about 50, and they're supposedly worth 125 to 150. I'm like, well, I wonder how much work they need. So I'm debating if I want to take a ride over there. It's a 2.5 hour drive. So and then the building is 2 stories, 8,000 square feet or something like that. He only wants 12,000 for that. So I made a couple phone calls to some people I know that will buy pretty much anything in the entire state of Colorado. So I'm thinking that next week we actually will take a drive over there. He sent pictures. The triplex is in great shape. The houses are pretty trashed. They've been broken into and such like that. But the thing is, he's got a triplex, two houses, and a commercial. And he goes, I'll just owner finance everything. I'll give it to you dirt cheap. I moved to Puerto Rico. I have some health issues. I just need someone to take these properties off my hands. So I would be stunned if that doesn't become a deal. I've talked to him for a couple of hours. Adel's talked to him for a couple of hours. And he's like, just anything. Anything. I need out. I just need out from underneath everything. Now, in addition to that, he has a multi-unit in Puerto Rico. Now, if I was buying things out of this country, I would jump on this deal in a heartbeat. But with everything happening with Bill and all that, it's like, I can't even think about doing this myself. But I've reached out to a couple people that buy multi-units. And he's got a multi-unit in Puerto Rico. It's 154 units in 6 buildings. And it's on 20 acres and it has oceanfront views. Now he wants 1.2 million down. He wants 1.2 down, but he'll lend back 1 million for repairs. So he wants 1.2 down. He'll lend back $1 million on repairs. Then he wants 6 million for the entire complex. And in Puerto Rico, they have a 40%, you get some sort of 40% credit when you buy the property. So it's like, okay, well, this sounds like it might be something. And so I have actually not done, I did one deal a long time ago from Jamaica. I did a deal from Kingston, Jamaica. But this would be my first time doing a deal in Puerto Rico. So I'm definitely going to try and see if I can't get this deal to pan out. So he's got 6 units on 20 acres, 6 buildings that total 154 units. He wants 6 million for the whole project, 1.2 down. He'll own or finance the whole thing, and he'll lend $1 million back for the repairs. Then you get a 40%, some kind of 40% tax incentive from Puerto Rico. So I am feverishly researching this one right now because I'm like, well, this could be like a serious deal. And the people I have that are looking at it, I mean, I would make a 0.5% maybe as a finder's fee or something. But I happen to know 4 or 5 people in the country that are really huge in the multi-unit space, and that's all that they ever do. So like, yeah, send me everything. So after I get off, done recording today, I'm going to send this out to 3 or 4 different people. I have no idea if this deal will work. I don't really even know anything about Puerto Rico as far as getting a clear title. I don't know about the city that it's in. I really don't know much about it other than the fact that I know like the top 5 multi-unit people in the whole entire country because I've had them on my podcast. So see, having a podcast, this is one of the nice things about having a podcast, is I make connections for things that maybe are not in my actual wheelhouse, but they're in the wheelhouse of other people that I know. So he's got, and then he's got another one in a hotel in, what's that place in Missouri? Branson. He's got a hotel in Branson. So he has a hotel in Branson. He's got 154 unit, multi-unit in Puerto Rico, and he's got 4 properties here in Colorado. All just listed like Craigslist. So, call me. I have some packages. Like, I don't know. It's just nothing. Like there was, I take that back. The ad just said, properties for sale in La Junta. So we called and then it's all this. So there's a hotel, there's a multi-unit in Puerto Rico, and there's all that. So that was one phone call to Craigslist that didn't cost $1. And this guy's like, I will sell everything. I will own and finance everything. I'll give money back. He's I just need out. I moved here for my health. He's 55. He's like, I got to get out from underneath everything. I just need like a 5 or 6 year break, maybe a little money coming in monthly or not. Doesn't even really care about that. And he just wants to dump everything he's got. He's like, I just got to dump everything. I just need to take care of myself. And if I can, I'm going to loop back into the business in about 5 years. Been investing for 30 years. And I found him on Craigslist. So when people are like, I can't find any deals. Now, will any of those pan out? I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like the ones in Colorado will, because I know a few rehabbers that have already been like, yeah, I definitely want to look at those. The one in Puerto Rico, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know enough about the laws over there. But you know what? It doesn't hurt to make some phone calls. It never hurts to have contact. It doesn't hurt to email. And I may put somebody, one of my people, in direct contact with Lance. With Lance understanding, I need like a very small percent for a finder's fee. And this person, if they did go around me, it would be very detrimental for them because I would tell everybody. So I feel like, and I don't know Lance, but I know this other person. So this person, I don't think would go around me. If they did, it would stun me because this person is a huge, huge speaker, podcaster, and everything like that. So sometimes it's just picking up the phone. It's just calling. It's just finding out what people have, what people need to get rid of, what's going on. The guy's got health issues. I mean, a year ago, he was keeping everything and working on all this stuff. Now he said he wants a 5-year break. So I don't know exactly what happened. I was kind of pushing a little bit to find out a little more details, but he didn't really want to talk super openly about all the things that were happening. I know his son moved to Asia, and I was like, okay, are you all like running from the law? What's happening right now? But on Craigslist, he had the properties on La Junta, and turns out it's a lot of stuff. So you have to be open for everything. And if you're listening to me and you're like, hey, I found someone that's got a multi-unit, I don't have any idea who to sell it to, contact me. Reach out, message me on social media. I know people in every industry around the entire country. I've got contacts out the yin yang. I've got people everywhere. And every single person I've done a podcast with, I kept their name and number and what they do. So I go through my phone, and like, hey, and so if you have anything, hotels, condos, houses, land, like I don't know what to do with it. If someone called me or I called somebody, I've got land over here, call Dwan. I know everybody, literally, I know everybody. So I'm pretty excited about this Puerto Rico deal. I'm really, really, really hoping I don't have enough information about the multi, but I'm really hoping that works out because that would be a great story to tell. And when I told Lance who I was, he goes, "Oh, I know who you are." He goes, "You run the RIA group there in Colorado," so he knows me. He goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen you around. He's, I've been investing for 30 years," so he knew me. It's like, I can't believe you're the person calling me, because my daughter called first, Ayla, and then she says, "Hey, will you call this guy? He's got a whole lot going on." So he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. I know who you are. I've heard your podcast before." So it's like, how small of a world is that, right? So that's kind of fun and interesting. So I will definitely keep y'all abreast. And if you come across, I never do say that on my podcast, that if any of you come across deals and you don't know what to do with them, you can always reach out to me. I would never go around you. And I literally know people in every single aspect, from pre-construction to vacant land to trailers to storage to commercial to multi-units. Like I have so many contacts. So I think I'm going to start making sure I say that at the end of every podcast. It's like, hey, if you get something, you don't know what to do with it, give me a call. Now, I probably won't buy it from you, but we will find someone to buy it. And I don't even want half the money. I'll just take a little bit for you calling me, a tiny little finder's fee, because I've got all these contacts. So I'm going to make sure in 2023 that I make sure everybody knows I've got a lot of contacts. And if you do get something, I'm your girl. I'm a girl. I'm a girl for education. I'm a girl for fun. I'm a girl for the fun pink hair. You saw my podcast first of the year, working on generational wealth. I want to help you with that too. And I just have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of contacts. So you get something, don't know what to do with it, call Dwan. And then if we make some money together, I'll have you be on my podcast and we'll talk about the deal so we can share with everyone what happened. So listening to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever, in addition to helping you be smarter, can help you make money by doing a deal with me. Well, I can wholesale the crap out of anything. You give it to me, I will wholesale it for you. Okay. So let's do that. That'd be fun. So I'm going to make sure every week, I just mentioned, like, if you come across something, just hit me up. Hit me up on social media. And if I can help you wholesale it, we'll do it. We will definitely do it. And interestingly enough, I interviewed someone on someone else's podcast this week that just got a lead on a house in Clinton, Iowa, where we own all of our buildings. There's someone looking to dump a house in Iowa. And I was like, Clinton, Iowa? Seriously? I was like, what are the odds? So I'm going to be looking at that deal this week as well. So it is just crazy stuff. if you just get enough feelers out there, things will come back. They will come back. So I want to, before I go, I want to read a 5-star review. If you would like to have your review read, you got to leave one. All right, this one is 5 stars. It says, great guest. Information shared on this podcast completely changed my thinking. I appreciate all the questions that I asked. This podcast was made with the listeners in mind. Highly recommend. Vanessa Kramer from the United States. Thank you very much. This is Vanessa. I like that review. Let me see. Do I have any more in my hand here? Yes, I do. Here's another 5-star. It says interesting and knowledgeable. It has such great info. Listening to this podcast has been a dream come true for me. Oh, my heart. I enjoy this podcast very much. Dwan guests always give sound advice. They genuinely want people to succeed. Joe Beasley from the United States. I do want you to succeed. I truly, truly. I feel like sometimes I want your success more than you do. I really do. I really do. So, Dwanderful.com, opt in, get some free ebooks, leave a 5-star review, subscribe, share with your friends. If you come across a deal, hit me up. See if your girl can't help you out here. And I'm on all over Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Dwantastic on TikTok. And I'm everywhere. So let me help you. Let's do it. Let's work together. And this is 2023 is a year with no fear. No more fear, no more COVID. We're putting all that behind us and we're moving forward without being scared. All right. I got you. So I'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. All right. Ciao.